Hey, sorry for the interruption, but we wanted to let you know that this week's episode is brought to you by Spotify for Podcasters. Really cool app. Josiah and I use it for every single show that we bring to you every week. You can edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so you can start creating as soon as you log into the platform. You can easily distribute your podcasts to Spotify and everywhere else the podcasts are heard, just like we do every single week. You can also create video podcasts on Spotify, which is really cool. And of course, you can earn money like I'm doing right now by including ads and even podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free. There's no catch. We really love it. We use it every single week. So we encourage you to go download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. All right, let's get back to the show.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. Each week, join Travis and Josiah as they provide insight into the print-on-demand industry and equip you with the tools, advice, and strategy you need to achieve success and hopefully have a few laughs along the way. Now, on to this week's show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Print on Demand Cast. As always, I'm Josiah, joined by Travis. Travis, how's it going, man? How's things been since the last time we chatted last night? You came over. We had some pizza and some beer and some smokes, but to the listener, the last time we talked was a week ago. So how's things been going? Catch the listener up on how your week has been so far.
I see. So you're basically wanting me to just tell you everything I told you last night. Okay.
Not me. No. There's other people here now, so now you have to tell all of them.
Yeah, we're actually just as we were doing the interview we're about to do, I got an email from the Farm and Art Market. We're actually going to be there on Thursday night. So it's going to be our first one. We're still kind of putting all the designs together, all the things that we're going to do, and got the tent and the sign, and just all the stuff that you need to do kind of those crafty type things. And so we're going to go out there and just test the waters. We've got a ton of different products that we're just testing, really. So we're not taking a whole lot of one thing. We're taking a whole lot of or a small amount of a whole lot of things, just so we can kind of see what resonates with the people, and not go broke in creating a bunch of stuff that's never going to sell. Right. So
totally.
Looking forward to that. I know you guys in your world, you guys are super busy. There's a lot of long nights, and I kind of caught you guys after you'd spent a long day at the new warehouse. Why don't you tell the listeners about what you guys got going on and what you're planning?
Sure. So we found the property, which I think we talked about last week, and so the former tenants of this place left it in just shambles. And so they were doing a lot of hemp and CBD stuff. And so as you can imagine, there's lots of resin, there's lots of oils on the wall, on the floor. There's like this grease residue substance thing that is nearly impossible to get up. So we had to, soak it with some degreaser. We'll go back tonight, see if it picks up. If not, there'll just be really nice area rugs randomly throughout the production space. I don't know what it's going to look like. But yeah, if you guys want to take a look at us, power washing the floors, you can go over to the What For Apparel Facebook page, because I shared a video today of us. It's like a 25-second time lapse of us running around and spraying and scrubbing and squeegeeing and the whole work. So lots of stuff to get it ready. We're going to move in this weekend. So as the listener is listening to this, this Friday, Saturday, we're going to go and try and do the majority of the moving in and getting it ready to roll, so we can kind of get a flow going and be ready to rock, and moving our offices over there. So there's no shortage of things to do, be it production, be it moving here. There's just tons of stuff. So, but yeah, it's super, super exciting, because this is the point of growth that we wanted to get at. So it's all very good things. It just doesn't make it any less busy or stressful in the meantime. Right. So for this podcast, we don't have a point of interest, because the interview is this week's point of interest. And Travis, it's with a company with Gero, who works for Vexels. And Vexels is a really cool resource and tool. So the reason we wanted to have Gero on is because we really, really believe in what Vexels and the service they provide for our listenership.
Yeah, I think, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. They're doing kind of and I'll talk about this in the interview too, but they're doing like a site launch or a new site launch. They've basically redone their entire site and
Sure.
The timing of it just happened to be like, so today's Tuesday and today is the first day of their launch. And obviously this episode will release tomorrow. And we wanted to be a part of this, not only because there's an affiliate, for it. So we actually get paid if any of our listeners or anybody
Sure.
uses our link. But also because I've used a lot of these sites. there's Design Genius or something. And then Envato has some stuff like this. And I'm convinced that Vexels has them all beat. I mean, there's like Placeit is great for one thing. They do just mock-ups, but Vexels has a mock-up generator as well. And it's in some ways, it's unique because now not only do you have the Placeit, if you have that subscription, you could also potentially use the Vexels and you have more mock-ups to potentially use. There's also some, I think, a little bit more functionality with the Vexels one, but regardless, the bottom line is that their designs are out of this world. They give you PSD, so you know rights, and you have total ownership, or not ownership, but commercial licensing to use these wherever. You can put them on just as is. We don't recommend that, but you could because you have the commercial licenses. But they give you the PSDs, so you can dig in there and change whatever and tweak it. And it's a great kind of springboard into a heck of a lot of ideas. And they have thousands and thousands of these designs, and they have vectors and So I mean, I know you're going to hear this again, I guess, in the interview, but this isn't just, I guess the thing that I wanted to make sure that this isn't like just a money grab, although we might grab some money in the process. But it really is because we've looked at these different sites and Vexels is really good. It's a really cool site and their designs are really out of this world. So even if you don't sign up, you should check it out just to maybe even get inspired to make your own design, and do it kind of the old fashioned way. But yeah, we just wanted to make that clear that we do really appreciate Vexels allowing us to be an affiliate for their new launch, but also they make a really outstanding product. And I think if you go to the site, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, totally. It's going to be beneficial for you, our listeners, especially those that, maybe don't have graphic designers on staff or they're not the best at graphic design themselves. This definitely gives you a way to produce some really fantastic, top-notch, professional-looking designs and put them on your merch by Amazon, your Redbubble, whatever that looks like for you. And if you go to that link, it's printondemandcast.com/Vexels for those, and that'll be in the interview as well for those wondering. But you go to that link, you sign up, and you get that benefit. And then also, your local podcast professionals do get a little bit, back for that. But we do this show because we love it. We do it for free. But it is an investment of time. So, that it also helps us keep doing this for free as well. So it helps everyone involved. It's a win-win situation. So, enough of us talking about things you're already going to hear in the interview. We're going to take you directly to this week's main event with Gero from Vexels.
It's about time for the thing you've been waiting for, the main event.
All right, folks, I'm super excited for what we have for you in this main event, this episode of the Print on Demand cast. We are, again, we're going international, Travis.
International.
I think we can officially say that the POD cast is an international podcast. We're going to be talking to Gero from Vexels. It's a company in Uruguay. So super excited to have him on here. Gero is a part of the marketing team at Vexels, and he mainly works in projects involved with merch in the print-on-demand industry. So we're going to get to know a little bit about Vexels, and then we're going to get to know a little bit about Gero himself. So, Gero, thank you so much for taking the time all the way in Uruguay to join the Print-on-Demand cast.
Guys, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you, man. I know it was a little bit of a time difference. It's a little later there, so I appreciate that. I also noticed that you're wearing a coat because I guess down there it's cold because you're on the other side of the world.
It's winter.
Yeah, it's winter for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate you joining us, man. So just to kind of get started and kind of get our audience introduced to you before we get into your company Vexels, which we'll talk about that plenty later because I'm really excited actually to introduce our audience to Vexels because I think it's that you guys have some amazing designs. But about you, like how did you get involved with print on demand? Like what's your print on demand story?
All right, so I started I met the opportunity to work with print on demand in late 2017, early 2018, because I was doing some freelance work, mainly for advertising, communications, marketing. But there was a time I was just working for employers, for companies or for agencies. So I kind of something came to mind in the idea of, okay, so I want to do this, but for myself, So that while looking for ways to create my own income, one of the ways was affiliate marketing. Making blogs, writing content. That's I used to be a writer, so that was the thing that drove me the most. But then I also found out about print on demand and creating a clothing line of my own. I mean, that was something that I talked about it with my friends a lot. I didn't mention this to you guys earlier, but yeah, that was kind of an idea that I had in the back of my mind. And one of the problems that I had was, how do I do the fulfillment? How do I do the printing? How do I not get stuck with so much products at home, and print on demand, and especially the Amazon program, that was like, oh my God, this
merch by Amazon.
Merch by Amazon, yeah, the merch program by Amazon. That was huge for me. So I started creating my own designs. I mean, I was complete garbage with it. I mean, I was bad, and I really didn't know much. Same as with affiliate. Yeah. I was in the dark. So I started looking for a lot of content on vlogs, videos, YouTube. That was one of my first sources of knowledge. And back in the day, there weren't many people who were sharing what they knew. There was a lot of people who were just selling courses and this is my gurus. There was more like the guru kind of thing.
Sure.
So a lot of times I follow advice and it wasn't quite successful. So while I was started to do that, I actually needed a job. So while looking for a job, I came across Vexels, which was at the time it was a graphic stock. But when I started working there, I the team and I started noticing there was a lot of interest for these kind of designs. There were people who are doing merch, who are doing this thing called print on demand. So that's kind of how my life and Vexels came together in a way, and here we are now. Yeah, and to be honest,
that's awesome.
I work with Vexels. I am not the best mercher out there because one of the things that I learned the hard way was that merch does take time, does take effort, and it isn't just like,
Yeah.
okay, you have a cool design and that's it, you gotta be really there's a lot of work that goes into it, and if you don't have the time and consistency, it's really hard to be like
Right.
successful as these gurus claim to be.
Yeah, that's something we always talk about here on the Print on Demand cast. Is we can give you the information, but we're going to give you the information, and you're going to have to go out and do something with it. What were you going to say, Josiah?
No, I was just going to say that I do think it takes a lot of intentionality to be successful at this kind of stuff. Because I think, to your point, Gero, a lot of the gurus are like, open merch by Amazon and you'll be making, 5 figures, whatever, in a year. But what they don't talk about is the implementation of those things and how it does take consistency and intentionality, just like anything, just like with this podcast. Had Travis and I stopped after the first month because the numbers weren't where we wanted them to be, we wouldn't be having this conversation with you. We wouldn't have continued to build the podcast. So consistency is just such a huge component to success in this industry and in many others.
Yeah. I was wondering, Gero, when you're telling us your story and you're kind of going through the internet looking for designs, really. You were trying to figure out what's the best way I can build up my Merch by Amazon account. And you were, turning over rocks, basically. Did you find a lot of resources out there to help with that? Or was Vexels like the first thing you found and it was just like an aha moment? Or how did that all play out?
Well, actually, as I think most of merchers did at any point in their merch careers or aspirations, the graphics I browsed were mainly either copycats, or I searched for a winning design or the framework of, okay, you gotta find a niche. You gotta find what's the winning design, because there are some tech, that there are some tools that help you finding, and eventually making something similar, like it resembles the idea, it hits the keywords, So that was one aspect, Then it was mainly Google or some I want to find like a CAD, PNG, royalty free, and do like the hard work, So I never actually got to Vexels by way of like doing my in the process of making my merch at first, because there wasn't any platform that was like, I want a t-shirt. I actually like the basic thing that I looked for was like t-shirt designs. I want to I download t-shirt designs, and everything was about t-shirt designs that were already on products. It led me to marketplaces. It led me to shops. It didn't lead me to my Google searches weren't leading me to graphic stocks, or sites where I could download or buy t-shirt designs, at least not in a formal or professional way. You have places that like they sell you designs, but it's like I don't know. It is more like it's very rough. It's very unprofessional, or you don't have any real legal or it's not serious. Some places are just like an artist, which is cool, like or Fiverr, another example, or any of those places where you can get an artist. It's like, you get the license, but you're still paying for a design that you don't know if it's gonna hit or miss, actually, because it doesn't depend only on the design. So you gotta have kind of, and that's where the other part of the work goes into. So in terms of design, when I started, it wasn't easy. I was doing a lot of things on my own because I had basic Photoshop skills. So you can always download. I mean, Merch by Amazon, they give you the templates. So you download the PSD file. It comes in the size. You just gotta replace the element, and that's it. I mean, so I went on and do that. But it wasn't like professional, and you can tell when something's professional or when something is just like not professional.
Not professional.
Not professional. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm raising my hand with the not professional design elements. I'm really good at the not professional designs.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about we've mentioned Vexels and how you didn't find them directly from searching designs. So let's talk a little bit about Vexels then, as far as what does Vexels do and how does it help the online seller?
All right. So the reason I didn't find designs is because when I started with Merch by Amazon, I wasn't working at Vexels, and when I started working with Vexels, which was early 2018, that was when the team was really small. We were 10 people, and we are currently about 95 people in the team.
Wow.
So we've grown a lot in the past few years, and we keep on growing. That's a side note, right? But my point was that it was a really tight group, so the ideas were the feedback from our users was really it still is very relevant. And one of the things that we saw the most was people like were increasingly asking to use our designs on their shirts, because and we eventually came to the realization that there was this thing called Merch by Amazon, which I already know about, and this started to make sense, and that's when we came out with the merch plans, because until that date, we didn't, our platform was mainly, and here's the introduction to Vexels. The platform Vexels was mainly a graphic stock. It was graphics to be used commercially. All right.
Okay.
So you had silhouettes, you had skylines, you had backgrounds, you had patterns, it's stuff you find in other graphic platforms, in other, like in general, graphic stocks. But in 2018, when we noticed this influx of people being interested in t-shirt designs, we started with the merch plans, mainly focused on Merch by Amazon. So we started doing t-shirt designs, just so we see if there's some interest, some traction, some involvement from our community and from new people who are interested in looking for this kind of designs and for this kind of purposes,
Yeah.
So we started with t-shirt designs. There was a huge reaction, a huge positive reaction, so much that towards the end of the year, we already had produced our own t-shirt maker. So it was a tool. We were already familiar with online editing tools. So it made sense for us at the time to create an online t-shirt maker, which we have, and it's better than, it's way better than its previous versions. So, and that's kind of how we started making our way and establishing ourselves as an option for design solutions for the merch industry. It's clear that there's an industry of people who work from their homes or as a side job or as an independent way of helping themselves or making a living or whatever. There's just so much you can do. There's so many different people and from so many different backgrounds who are doing merch that it is real, that it's a whole new industry. And we understand that there isn't any big company, any big design company that's increasingly dedicated to that industry. There are companies that commercialize graphics to be used even on products, but it isn't either they either don't have their licenses or they either don't have the actual like the inside information, to create value for the people in the industry. And that's kind of one of the ways that we've been working on the most, because one of the I think we touched upon it, but it's not just about, especially in the print on demand business, it's not just about print ready designs. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to download a design, it's going to work. It doesn't work like that. I mean, we know it takes time, it takes effort, it takes ideas. You have to think, actually. You actually have to think. It's a business. If you want to be successful, you got to treat it as a business. You know, it's not like the easy way to financial freedom. And we are increasingly more aware of that. And that's why throughout the years, we've grown our team. We've included new tools and products for the community, like, for example, the PSD templates. You know, like Amazon already gives you blank templates. Okay, so we decided at some point, we saw that there were like, okay, so t-shirt designs work great. Okay, but they're kind of hard to edit if you're not a professional designer, you know. So let's make it easier for them. Let's give them a tool. Okay, so that's kind of how we thought about, let's create PSD templates with ready-made designs that they can edit. Like, you can edit the text, you can edit elements, etc., and then you get on with it, you know, just to make it easier. So
that's one of the things that I was just going to say, that's one of the things I really appreciate about the site is, you know, it has a lot of, like, it has mock-ups, you know, as well as the designs. And so for me, as somebody who lists like on Amazon and Etsy, I need mock-ups, and you guys give these PSD mock-ups that already have like smart objects in them, to where, you know, if it's a graphic that's going to go in like a coffee mug, it actually bends around the mug, and I can, you know, I can do those in bulk. And so I definitely appreciate that. I know I wanted to talk about the site a little bit, and we can kind of go through it a little bit. But one of the things that you kind of have separated the two main parts of your site. Would you talk a little bit about, so you called experience on the site. I'm looking at it right now, and there's one experience that's the design, and one experience is the merch. How did you guys differentiate that, and what does that mean to the consumer who's actually using your site?
That's a great question. And when, as I mentioned before, when we started, it was more like a graphic stock. Our site, our service was more like a graphic stock. We make designs for you to use commercially. Now that we've included more services and more features and tools, we understood that we had not just a graphic stock, but a platform. We now have a design platform. And there were two very clear audiences. The design audience, like the long-lasting design audience, which is a classic. And we have this new emerging and prominent audience of merchers, you know, and it's not just people who are on Merch by Amazon, but they are also selling either with Printful, on Redbubble. They have their own stores, or they want to just like have, you know, a design solutions for their own printing needs. Even if they work from their own home, sublimating or doing screen printing, you can still have access to designs. I mean, if you want it. So it's not just print on demand, but it's more like the merch industry in general. So that's kind of the big differentiations between those audiences.
Yeah, so you can basically go in and you can, if you want to like look for, you know, design elements to build your, you know, your final t-shirt design or your whatever design, you can still do that with Vexels. It has a lot of design elements that you can pick and pull from. It has SVGs and, you know, PSDs and AI files and all of those things that you can pick and pull from and then build your final design yourself. Or you have kind of this merch side, which is more pre-made designs, but editable pre-made designs, which I think is huge. It's not just something you just download and just throw up on merch. You, to your point, Gero, you know, you need to be able to make this unique, to make it your own, to really put some thought behind it. And that's the way you're going to succeed in Merch by Amazon or Redbubble or wherever. So I like that you have both of those sides kind of covered, because sometimes I am just looking for a vector of a beer can or something, and I'm going to go to the design side for that. But maybe, I'm going to also just go crazy on your merch side, just grabbing all the PSDs I can so I can edit them all and upload them.
Actually, there's a good point to clarify there. When you choose either option, I'm going to be clearer. When you choose the merch experience, okay, when you choose merch, everything everything is going to prioritize merch designs and merch assets. So if you choose merch, when you go with searches, the most things you'll find is about merch, but it doesn't take away that you may find stuff that you could find if you went on a search on the design aspect, So if you choose design, on the other hand, you're gonna find more like resources like backgrounds, logos, that kind of stuff. But if you if you are a merch seller, just pick merch, and your navigation, your experience will be mainly geared towards your needs as a merch seller. So over there you can find either like the print ready designs, the editable PSDs, and PNGs, which you can use as you wish, etc. That's a small point that I want to clarify.
No, it's great. I'm literally looking at it, and you've got experiences, so you have the merch and the design, and then underneath that you have the content. So you have, well, do I want vectors? Do I want merch vectors? Do I want PSD templates? Do I want PNGs? And you can select that, and then under that it has other niches that are associated with your search term. So I put beer in, and then I went to the merch experience, and the niches are t-shirt design, beer, of course, drinks, quotes. I'm assuming those are quotes about, beer or something like that. And then under that, you have, your online tools, which, you've got your t-shirt maker and your mock-up generator. Talk more about how customers are using those two tools on your site.
Well, the t-shirt maker is, it has about, I'm gonna go with a lower count because I don't remember what the high count is, but there's approximately 20,000 visits to the t-shirt maker per month, at least.
Wow.
At least, and that's a lower number because I don't want to make up numbers on the fly, but I'm pretty sure that's a solid reference. Mockup generator, that was a tool that we released late last year. So it's still it's super powerful, and we've added a lot of. We keep adding content every week, pretty much. So yeah, it's doing pretty well. I don't have any numbers on it, so I really don't want to. I don't want to invent, but I know that it's working really great. There's been some really positive feedback from the community. There are definitely some things to improve. So, and that's one of the things that runs throughout every aspect of Vexels as well. We are very much interested in the feedback of the community. People that they don't like something about a tool, we read it and we do our best to make the fixes that are needed. But fortunately enough, both these tools have been really successful. They're super useful, especially the t-shirt maker. At first, like right now, it has some like pre-made templates, so you can select the templates and edit things, and it's already made for you. You don't have to do any effects or anything, so that's great. Because one of the problems that merchants run into at some point is that they have the idea, but it's making the design is it's a drag, or it's
challenging,
or you don't have the technical tools or ideas, and the reason why we do tools is because of that. Like, people don't know how to use Illustrator. Like, you ask how many people in your community know how to use Illustrator professionally or competently, and you're not gonna be surprised about like how few people know how to do it. So online tools,
Right.
we understand, we are digital, we know the digital world for quite some time, so we know that click and drag and replace your text works great, and
Right.
it comes packed for ready to upload. And there are some more tools coming up. That's kind of one of the things that I was stating. With it wasn't just about merch by Amazon. I mean, we are working on new tools like book covers, like bookmakers, for covers and
For
interiors.
KDP.
For KDP.
For KDP and sort of publishing in general. Maybe there's another company in the future. I know Redbubble has notebooks, for example. They have covers, I mean, but they're still designs. So yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. Yeah, while you're talking, I'm like Travis, literally going through the website and checking out the merch and the design side and playing around with the mock-up generator. So there's a lot of value that's packed into a Vexels subscription for sure. And there's so much to dive into. I'm looking forward to kind of even doing a deep dive myself and seeing what trouble I can get into and how to break it and how to get back out of that trouble. So tell for those listening that are like, man, is this something I should think about? Is this something that I shouldn't? I don't know. What would you say is the ideal person, like the ideal customer to try out Vexels? Who would you recommend Vexels to?
All right. I think, as we talked about earlier, that stuff like tools just don't do anything on their own. A knife is not gonna cut anything if it's not being used by anyone. So in the same way, I think that Vexels is a powerful platform for the merch industry, and for anyone who's either trying to get into it, trying to create an online business based on selling products, or if you are an experienced seller that says, hey, there's this platform that not only gives me design assets, but also helps me create new ideas and have resources and knowledge and tools that allow me to grow and expand my empire or my company.
Right.
I think anyone can try it out. I am, the team and we as a company are well aware that it's not for anyone. It's not for everyone. Sorry, it's not like everyone's gonna be successful if you buy a merch, buy a Vexel subscription and it's gonna work for you. Maybe it's not, because maybe you get a subscription but you just don't have consistency. Maybe you don't. Maybe your keyword research isn't the best and you gotta work on that. Maybe your criteria for design is just wrong and you just keep missing the niches that you should be working on. So I understand that merch isn't for everyone. That's I think that the most important thing. I can personally say that I am not the most successful mercher, because I'm not seeing like not even hundreds, of dollars every month, because I know that I have to dedicate part of my time, energy, and ideas into it. This is by no means a deterrent for people who want to start merch. Not at all. I mean, I think it's a great way, an easy way, a low level entry barrier.
It's like a low barrier of entry.
Kind of business.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to do it, but it's hard to keep doing it. It's easy to get discouraged at some point, but that's kind of the basis of what we and I mean Vexels is working on now. It's like, how do we provide value to people who come from many different backgrounds, from many different interests, but they all have the common need of solving their merch, their merch needs. On one end, from design, but in the other way, in other hand, by way of ideas, and ideas and creativity, That's why we have tools that allow you to create your own stuff. So yeah, I would encourage anyone to try it out, and if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Yeah, I think as I'm looking at it, I think what's going to happen when people like hear this episode or they see the Facebook post or they're going to go to Vexels. They're going to look at the options they have. They're going to do a couple searches and they're going to see the quality of these designs. And I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes, guys. These designs are quality. They're really, really freaking good. And so once they see that, I think they're going to want to try it out. And that doesn't say anything about whether or not they're going to be successful. To your point, it's going to be the ones who actually put the work in. Those are the ones who are going to be successful. But one of the reasons we had you on, Gero, is because you guys basically just kind of relaunched Vexels. And it's a brand new platform, really. I mean, a lot of the same functionality is still there, but it's a brand new interface. I had used the old one and I've used the new one. I can say the new one is much faster. It's much easier to navigate. I have a lot of really good things to say about it. In fact, because I was part of the beta for that, and I actually got on with some of your other colleagues and gave them some feedback. But overall, I was very impressed with the new design. But because you guys are launching this new site, you are doing some really cool things with some of your affiliates. And, again, not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes, Josiah and I, Print on Demand Cast is an affiliate of for Vexels. And so we have a special link. It's printondemandcast.com/Vexels. And you guys have put together a really cool package for all of your affiliates, kind of celebrating this launch. It's a limited time. It's only for us. We're getting an extra week. It's normally a week, but we're getting 2 weeks because we're a podcast and like our listenership kind of has to catch up. It's not just one post or one email. Right. And we appreciate that. Just want to make that clear, Gero. But tell us about like what happens if you get a subscription in the next 2 weeks. What are the benefits of doing it now as opposed to maybe, a month from now or 2 months from now?
All right. So people who decide to participate with Vexels, who choose to give it a try, they enter a giveaway for 2 full refunds. I think it's 2. Yeah, 2 full refunds.
I think it's 1, but I'm just going to say it's 1. I'm not sure if it's 2. So for us, I think it's 1. I don't know if our audience was, not big enough to have 2, but if you want to give us 2, that'll be just fine.
Okay, let's go with 1 now, and maybe if we do well, next month we have another one. How about that?
There we go.
That'd be cool.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean? What does a full refund mean to our listeners? What
the full refund is for subscribers? Yeah. Okay. For subscribers who for the annual and the lifetime plan, either of those plans, we're gonna have a giveaway of 1 full refund, meaning that if you are a winner and you've purchased the annual plan, we're gonna do the refund of a full year.
Wow.
You're gonna have a 1 full year free of Vexels. That's awesome. You can download anything you want. You can use the tools as much as you want. And if you buy a lifetime plan, which is exclusive for the guys from your community, it's for lifetime. So if you win it, you're gonna have Vexels for life and for free.
Now, I want to make sure that everybody understands that we're not talking about this drawing isn't for every single affiliate. This is only for people who use our link. So if there's only 5 people that sign up for a lifetime or an annual plan, you got a 20% shot of getting it for free. So that's pretty amazing. That really is. So then there's also some free design elements as well. And
on your landing page, but like on the link that you just mentioned, you're gonna have a free bundle to anyone who dares walking into. No, I mean it's already free. Like you can download it right now. It's commitment free.
Yes, so just to recap for those of you listening, printondemandcast.com/Vexels. That's VEXELS. Sign up for a subscription, pay annually, and you could get a refund on that year. And also you get a free graphics bundle right off the gate. So that's a huge value from Vexels to you guys, our listener. Again, the last day to do that is July 14th. So as you're listening to this, you have 2 weeks to take advantage of this awesome offer. And there's some stuff that we wanted to highlight about Vexels. I mean, you can prioritize search results. You can have online tools. And then I see here also it says requesting a design. People can request a design to be made. Tell us a little bit about that before we kind of go into what we call our magic questions. But I thought that was interesting. They can request a design.
Yeah, that's a feature that I think it was one of the first features that we had when we started with the merge plans. And that's basically if you have an idea or if you don't see something in the site that you're interested in having, you can have, if you're a subscriber, of course, you can have a design request made for you. Keep in mind that in most cases, the design, the request is uploaded afterwards to the library. But depending on your plan, it has like a window of delay before it gets live. You depending on your plan, you receive your design request, and then it's a week until it's published, or a month in some cases. Right? With the new plans, there are the option of having, and this is new, of having exclusive design requests. Okay. So for subscribers of the Merge Plus and Merge Ultimate plans, which are the intermediate and the most advanced plan, we have exclusive design requests, which are the requests which are not going to be uploaded to the site. So those have an extra cost. Those do have an extra cost, but they're not going to be published later on. One of the things that we haven't mentioned, and it's a very brief thing, is that our entire art team is in-house. So we don't hire third-party designers. We don't hire from job boards. Every artist that we work with is a talent, and is a local talent.
And I think it's important to mention one of the reasons that that's important is because when you hire a Fiverr designer or somebody from a job board or whatever, you don't really have control over whether or not they've actually sold those designs elsewhere. But by having them in-house, you have the exclusivity to know that they're not moonlighting, because if they moonlight, they're getting the boot. So I think that's important to point out. There's going to be much less potential for copycat designs, or you having something that's already been sold on another platform. It's all going to only be available on Vexels, which is really important, I think.
It is. Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. Well, let's transition to what we call our magic questions. These are questions that we ask every guest that we have. We have a list of them. We usually pick one or two. So we called this one our crystal ball question, Gero, because we're going to ask you if you could, what do you think the future of print on demand is?
I think that the future is not one line of time and space. I think there are lots of possibilities. I think to be
a multiverse.
Exactly. There's a multiverse of merch and print on demand, because there's just so many opportunities, so many products, so many concepts, because it's a multi-layered thing. it's not a one-trick pony. That's a fact. I mean, merch and print on demand is not a one-trick pony. It's not you just
Right.
sell T-shirts and that's it. It's not going to be
Right.
saturated because there's constantly going to be more products being able to be purchased or commercialized on print on demand. There's new markets. South America. There isn't a market in South America yet. There's definitely years of print on demand to work with. Yeah, definitely.
That's cool. I think that's the first time we've ever had a Marvel MCU answer to one of our crystal ball questions with the multiverse.
Nice. Glad to be the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to start referring to our listeners as the POD multiverse. I'm just going to start. They're out there in the POD multiverse and receiving all this information. So yeah, one last one of these questions here, Gero. If you had to offer one POD tip, what would it be? You've talked a little bit about consistency, intentionality. So you can either unpack that a little more or hit us with another POD pro tip from there in Uruguay.
I'd say I would go with the basics. I think that it's important. I would say that what would I give myself as or someone as an advice is to keep in mind that if you want to run a business, you gotta treat it as a business. So it takes time. It takes consistency. You will be challenged by the things you didn't think you were gonna be challenged, like time,
Right?
like how eager you are on any given day to take work. How difficult it is sometimes you gotta sit down, you gotta write the product descriptions. You just don't want to do it. Be ready to. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think awareness is one of the most important things to be had in the merch and in the merch business. Awareness, consistency, and be willing to always learn. You gotta always constantly be learning. You won't be watching a video, and if you keep doing the things you did that made you successful at first, those are not gonna be sustainable throughout time. You gotta do things differently at some point.
Pivot.
So you gotta pivot. Yeah, exactly.
Here we go. Pivot.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's not easy. A lot of people say that merch is easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gero, thank you again so much for having us, for coming on the show, taking time for us to chat. Awesome information. I'm super excited about Vexels. I'm super excited about the opportunity our listeners out there in the print on demand multiverse have to take advantage of this exclusive offer. So one last time, we're going to go and let you guys know, printondemandcast.com/Vexels. That's VEXELS. You can sign up if you pay for an annual plan. You enter a drawing to get that amount refunded to you. An exclusive bundle is also at your fingertips, and that is good until July 14th, 2021. So please avail yourself of that, and you get a 35% discount. Let's not forget the money that you'll save as well through this exclusive offer, as if this offer wasn't good enough already. So please be sure to take advantage of that. And Gero, thank you so much for coming on, and we look forward to chatting with you sometime again soon.
Thanks, guys.
All the way from Uruguay in the middle of bitter cold winter is Gero, which is a wild thing to think of, that he's cold right now, because I am the opposite. But a big thanks to him again for coming on the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the interview. It is filled with really good information, not only about Vexels, but just some advice that he throws in there as well, and tips for being successful in the POD industry. Travis, 30,000 foot view real quick. What did you think of the interview?
Yeah, I think, he did a good job. We just went through the Vexels site, which like we mentioned, has been redone, and I think the way they've done it and the navigational tools are really intuitive, and they've done a really good job. But then, like you said, I think all the way through it, he was not shy saying Vexels isn't going to make you successful. And I love that.
Yeah.
Vexels itself, that's not going to do it. It's going to be your hard work. It's going to be you taking action, you being consistent in that action. And then over time, over potentially a really long time, you'll start seeing results, and you can really see incredible results if you continue to apply yourself. You continue to learn new things and pivot, like you said at the end, So I think I really, yes, we sure did. I really do appreciate that, that he didn't just, come on and say, well, if you get Vexels, you're going to be, 5 figures and merch by Amazon in a year, because that doesn't exist.
Nope. Yeah, no, 100%. It was really good for him to add that context. Something that you, the listener, are probably used to hearing Travis and I say too, is all of these tools, all this advice that we give you are just tools. You got to pick up the hammer and nail it for it to work, as opposed to hoping the hammer does it on its own. So I'm very, very thankful for Gero coming on the show. Again, that link is printondemandcast.com/Vexels, VEXELS. 35% discount expires in 2 weeks from the time you're listening to this. You have 2 weeks to take advantage of this offer. And I don't doubt that it's going to be exactly.
That's a bomb sound.
Yeah, you have you have 2 weeks to defuse the bomb. Apparently, is what this is all turned into.
And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep doing that for 2 weeks until you actually either the bomb blows up or you actually purchase.
You imagine how anticlimactic that would be if they put that in a movie scene. The guy gets there and they're like, "You have 2 weeks to disarm this bomb." And he's like, "All right, well, I'll come back in a week." It's not a very action hero scene, but usually it's 14 seconds. You have 14 days. So yeah, you've got 14 days to take advantage of this offer. We're going to post a link on our Facebook group, which by now you guys should all be a part of. But if you're not, printondemandcast.com/Facebook is where you can go and join the group. We'll have a link to the affiliate link there for you as well, so it'd be easy to find. And we really hope you guys take advantage of the offer, because I don't doubt that it's just packed full of value for you guys, which is very, very exciting. So please avail yourself of that. If you have questions for us, for Gero, you can message us on the Facebook group. You can email us, info@printondemandcast.com. And of course, as always, we are on all the major podcast providers. For you, the POD multiverse, which I thought was a great term that I have now going to use. Gero doesn't know that anything he says creatively on the show is our intellectual property. It's in the unwritten agreement, so we're just going to take it. You'll probably find it on a shirt somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we're happy that you guys are a part of this POD multiverse. Please rate and subscribe on iTunes. As always, that's very, very, very appreciated by Travis and myself. So, Travis, anything else before we wrap this thing up and put a bow on it?
No, I'll say one last thing. This may not be the time for you to do this, and don't just, I want to let you off the hook. You don't have to get Vexels to be successful in print on demand.
Sure.
It's a tool, just like we've been saying all along. So it may not be the time for you to do this, but if you have, a little bit of extra cash and you have the ability to make this work financially, it could push you a little bit further towards your goals. So, but I just want to let you off the hook. If you're more of a beginner and you haven't really kind of established some of that stuff, it's totally okay. We just want to make these things available to you guys if it makes sense in your business. So that's all I'll say about that.
I agree with Travis wholeheartedly. So thanks again, guys, for listening this week. Hopefully this was useful, entertaining, and beneficial for you. For Travis, I'm Josiah, and we'll see you right here next week in the POD Multiverse on the Print on Demand Cast.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Print on Demand Cast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you've got a question or a suggestion for the show, send Travis and Josiah an email at info@printondemandcast.com. Take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget to subscribe now so you don't miss next week's episode. See you next week.